I'm so happy you're here with us today, Maria. It's so good to see you looking so beautiful and
Thank you.
happy.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, you have a great story to tell, and I want to make sure that it's recorded for all history because life wasn't always wonderful for you in the last few years, but it started out great. So I remember you being a super mom and doing all the things that moms love to do for their kids. Take us back to those years and tell us what life was like then.
I'm a single mother with 6 children. I was a classroom helper for my children at Brick School at Olive. There was times that was so wonderful that I would participate in the classrooms, field trips, and recess. I was a helper. There came a time that depression came on me, and one thing led to another thing. I became an addict, a drug addict. It was, at the time, in my brain, I thought it was the most wonderful time of my life, but it was the worst time of my life. I made my children miserable. They started resent towards me because I wasn't the mother that they wanted me to be. I was just a person in their life. They started doing their own life growing up. They started seeing other families, how they act, how they became. I lost the interest of a mother, but I believe God loves me and has guided me to a better life and teaching me so much in these past 3 years. I've been sober almost 3 years. I have a good relationship with all my children. My last child that I have to raise, she's 11 years old, and I want to get reunified with her. I'm just waiting for the right time that we get the relationship going. It's a relationship that is going, and I have a case, but at a certain time in a part of my life, I know I'm going to receive my daughter in my life and raise her as I raise my other children. This child that I have now, I'm going to say part-time because my other daughter, 23-year-old daughter, is raising her. She put her life on hold, going to university. She's a great daughter, sister to my youngest daughter. I believe God has us in a good path.
Yeah, Maria, what started you on drugs? It seems like everything was just fine in your life, and what even drew you to that?
I started hanging around with the wrong crowd. I seen how they had life going. I thought it was the best thing ever. I was never introduced to drugs until then. It's probably like 15 years ago. I thought it was a great life, fast life, nothing to do, no responsibilities, nothing. It kind of got old. I got tired of it. I got introduced to crystal meth. It was a wonderful drug, they say, to lose weight. I wanted to lose weight the fast way because I wanted to be more active with my children. But it became the wrong way because I started hallucinating and started talking to myself. My children started getting scared. They didn't want me around. They started doing more community in our community, more service in our community. They started going to the library, put their strength in studying to be a better person. They didn't want nothing to do with me. I started resenting my children why they didn't want me around. I just didn't know that it was the drug that was using me to become a terrible person. Yeah. People think that drug is the best thing to go on this path, but it's the wrong way to go. I took Jesus Christ in my life and I got baptized, and I'm trying to be a better Christian, loving Christian, humble. I'm learning. Every day I learn something new.
So it's definitely a process. I remember 10 years ago, 8 years ago, you were living in a garage with 2 of your children, and you were actually using drugs in front of them. And there was a call to CPS and the police. But as sad as that was kind of the beginning of getting you back on a path. And I know that's a long journey, right?
It was a terrible point in my life because I didn't have no support. I did have family, but they didn't know how to introduce me to the resources out there in the community to get behavioral health, to have a therapist, a psychiatrist, a doctor, to have my house better. They just left me alone. I didn't know what to do. It was a terrible time of my life. It was very difficult for me. My children were very sad at the time. I wish I could turn back and do it all over again. The discipline that I have now, I wish I had it then. It's something that I'm growing up as fast as I can, but I'm slowing down, not too fast. I'm trying to be the best mom I can.
So you, as of today, you're still living at the shelter, Harvard Shelter, right?
Yes, I have this opportunity to be at the Harvard Shelter here in the Spirit of Paula. It's so wonderful that I have the opportunity, that I have a job there. I have volunteer, I do pantry, I do anything that I could volunteer. I drive the children to school, I pick up food, we rescue some food, we take our guests from the shelter, wherever they need to go, to doctor's appointments. I'm there on hands 24 hours there. It's a wonderful job to me. It's the best thing that I have been introduced to.
And your youngest daughter gets to stay with you there, right?
Yes, I have the opportunity that my daughter loves to stay at the shelter because there's more children, and she likes to interact with the children and the activities that we have there at the shelter. She loves being there. She got the opportunity to stay overnight. It was so wonderful that she was so excited. She asked again if she could stay there, and I said, absolutely, you can stay anytime you want here. It's a wonderful reunited with me to raise my daughter when she wakes up. It's a beginning.
Yeah. Does she know that's a shelter for homeless people, or does she just see that as the place where you live?
She knows it's a shelter for people that don't have a home, that there's like myself, that I don't have a home right now. I'm working on it, and she knows that there's people that come, families, single parents, there's people that are on the streets, and we shelter them there. I try to open up the life that is out there for homeless people. I don't want her to see or get scared just because they say homeless. Some people get scared right away, that they think they're drug addicts, they're criminals, and we're not. Some people are very humble. The situation that they have came to the shelter, and they're trying to get back on their feet.
Okay. And what's your role at Spirit?
I'm an employee at Spirit Son of Paula. I do research center. I am I am an employee. I serve the outside guests. We serve breakfast from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We give them medical, food stamps, and research any other shelters that we could recommend them to get back on their feet.
What's it like to see them come in? Or is their behavior a trigger for you to go backwards in your mind?
Sometimes it is, but I take it as I don't want to be on that side of the table. I want to be on the other side of the table, greeting them. I'm helping them to get their breakfast every morning. I want them to have a good day, to have their breakfast, because we don't know what situation they wake up this morning and they have a bad day. So a breakfast, it makes them happy. When somebody greets them, they're very happy.
What is your best way to encourage somebody who comes to the resource center, the drop-in center?
They ask me every morning, how do you do it not to use drugs? How do you do it to stay humble? I say, I take every day, I pray every night that Jesus Christ has me in their path. If they need more resource to get involved with the community, the shelter, we welcome them. We do an intake. We welcome them to take a step in their life, not to stay where they're at. The situation is you could go forward. You don't have to be all the time on the situation. It's hard for a person to say, I need help. It's hard for a person to say, I'm an addict, I need help. It's very hard for them because they've been there. We don't know how long they've been addicts and how long they need help. It's very hard for them to ask for help.
Was there a time when you were actually homeless yourself?
Yes, I was homeless 2 times in my life. It was very hard for me because I never was homeless. And when I became homeless, I took everything for granted. What I had, at least a faucet to wash my dishes. I had a restroom. I had a shower, clothes to wash. I took that for granted. And now that it was very difficult for me when we were homeless, we had to go to the gas station and take a shower. We call it bird bath. My daughter had to go to high school. Sometimes she would not take showers for a week. We tried to keep up with having her clean because she had good grades. She was an honor student. And I didn't want the homeless community to look so bad because we were homeless. There are people out there good that they're homeless and they are very good, educated and everything. They just need help. The little bit that we could help them is give them a shower, hot meal, any resource that we could give them. It helps a lot.
What do you see in your future? Near term, long term? You're on a path now. So what's your next step?
My next step is getting housing to reunify my daughter. I have this limit 2 years after you have a CPS case to go back to court to prove to the court that I am eligible to raise my daughter. I have a job, I have a roof over her head on my own to prove that if I could have my daughter back in my custody. That's my next step. And from there, I'm gonna get a better job, that I already have a good job. I want another part-time job.
Right.
Because life is very expensive and putting a roof over my head, it has to have income coming in to get an apartment.
I want to compliment you on having raised, I'm not going to use her name, but the daughter who has taken care of your youngest daughter. How did she overcome all those years of watching you struggle and watching you in a deep dive into your addiction and homelessness? What made her shine? What strength did she have? Where did she get that to overcome that?
Maybe it's gonna sound, maybe love, that she had this person in her life. I'm not gonna mention the name, only if I could mention the name. I don't know. She looked up to this person so much. She had a career, she was getting her bachelor's degree, she had a certificate for service, she was a community icon. This person in her life came at the time that she was more vulnerable to absorb everything she wanted in education. She always talked about this person and she wanted to be like the person that was mentoring her, even though that maybe the other person didn't know that she was mentoring her, but she was. And this person encouraged her so much in education. And she believed that if I couldn't raise my daughter, that's her sister, she was gonna step in for her sister to have a good life, childhood. Because if she didn't have it, she wanted her sister to have it. And she wants to become forensics scientist, and she put that on hold, and it means so much to me because she shouldn't become a mother of so soon. She's 23 years old. She has 3 jobs. She's the employee of the month. I am so proud of her. She bought 2 cars. And at this point, I'm very proud of her, very proud. She has my daughter on the good path for education. She has her brother too in a good path for education. They're both in school. My son is in Ventura County College. My daughter is here in Santa Paula at Glen City. Yesterday, the teacher told me that she got 100 on her spelling. I was so proud because the teacher came up to me and told me, your daughter got 100 on her spelling. It means so much to me that my daughter is doing a good job, a very good job.
You know, the Bible says that God will take all things and make them work together for good. Can't you see that even those bad circumstances that you created and caused have actually been used for good in both of your daughters' life? How is your relationship with the other 4 children now?
With my other 4 children, it's a kind of ongoing relationship. We talk once a week. We used to have Sunday dinners, even though we would talk on the phone. They would be having dinner and we would be having dinner, but we were not in the same place. But we would be interacting, like what they did all the week. What was their day? How it was going? Are they doing good? Are my grandchildren doing good in school? My other son that moved away, how is he doing with his job? It was something that I was so grateful that my children all have a job and they're growing up and being good citizens.
Well, it's a great story, and I appreciate you reliving it with us, and it has to be painful to do that, to go back in time and think of things you wish you had done differently. But if today is a good day, then we'll just rejoice with you in that. What encouraging word do you have for someone who was now where you were many years ago? What would you say to them?
I would say that take a step back and look at the situation you're in and try to make it better. If the situation is being homeless, try to get a job so you won't be homeless and get an apartment. If you're an addict, take a step back and say, I want to get help. I want to go to my classes so I could not be an addict. Try to learn why is an addict an addict. I say please don't do drugs because it doesn't discriminate. It does take you to 2 roads you don't want to be, 6 feet under or in jail.
Okay. So today's a good day, right?
Yes, it's a wonderful day today.
It shows on your face. Thanks for being a part of our lives, and we're going to be walking with you for the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.